webinar. And our topic tonight is the three you must knows about electric vehicles before visiting the auto dealer. And if this is the spot you hope to be in, we welcome you. And if you find yourself not quite in a right place, we want you to stay with us. So I'm about to take um, all the video screens off for everyone except the co-host. And I did want to see everyone in the room first, though, just just for prosperity's sake. Oh, there's everybody. Hello, everyone. Oh, Keeman. Hello to Kelly. I see some new faces that I'm not familiar with. Chandrika, Samaru, Robert, thank you so much for checking in. Jesse Duran. So I'm going to, I thank you so much for joining us tonight. And I'm going to take all the videos down. So only people you'll see are the co-hosts. And pardon me. There we go. I am ready to get started. So this is the title of our webinar. We are DaiTechnologies Corporation. I am known as Cheryl, DaiTech CEO, AKA your enlightened electric vehicle adoption expert. And to warm things up just a little bit, we've got a few polling questions that we're about to launch. So Suyash, could you hit the polling questions? Okay. So for the first question, we have here, where do you presently reside? Could we get you to answer that first question? We've got 15. All right. Cool. Gonna let it run for another minute. And everyone's looking to buy, everyone who responds to the poll is looking to purchase or shop for an electric vehicle. All right. We'll let it run until 1 minute. And they're off. There's no one from DC. Everyone's outside of the area. This is amazing, except for one person. I feel like I need to participate in the poll, to get the numbers up. This is amazing. Oh, okay, that's the end of the poll. Thank you so much for that response. We're going to get started. All right, the three you must knows about electric vehicles before visiting the auto dealer. I have one other request, and that is DaiTechCorp is making a run for the Federal Express Small Business Challenge. And we have jumped in the hopes of winning a prize of $50,000 in grant money and also training. It's a very valuable opportunity in addition to the funds that they are granting. And the first round, we have to make the cut, the first 700. So your vote is very important for us as hitting that number or exceeding whatever number is required. So I'd appreciate if you would vote for us. And Suyash, could you drop the address for the vote in the chat? Thank you so much. All right, so I'm ready to get started. Okay, so I just want to say that, and I know that we have so many people from outside the area. I had planned on creating this webinar to get folks ready for the auto show. And, we are having our experience with Rona these days, and it's just not happening. because of Rona. So if you wanted to go to auto show, you just recently found out in the district that it was canceled. And we have our friends Raquel, who's somewhat disappointed. She's been giving us the side eye about the whole situation because this is one of those things that she looked forward to. She had the opportunity to attend the press events and some of the VIP events around the auto show. And Reggie, he likes to go to think about, just to consider, what's going to be my next vehicle. And all I could do was shake my head because I was excited about going to check out the electric vehicles. So I've been walking around just a little sad when they said they were going to cancel it. But it'll be back next year in January. But having said all of that, the show must go on. And at DaiTechnologies Corporation, we're about electric vehicle adoption, not so much the auto show. So tonight, our intention is for you, Raquel and Reggie, to be compelled to check out electric vehicles, understand the incentive opportunities that are in the DMV region. And since we have so many folks who are not from the DMV, we want you to check out the incentives in your area, and we have connections for you to do that. And we ultimately want you to connect with DaiTechCorp for an optimal aftermarket experience. So, number one thing you should know, start scouting. There is more to electric vehicles than Tesla. Now, I'm not trying to disparage Elon Musk or anything like that, but there's more to the technology than the Tesla. Even though Tesla is the brand standard, there's a whole lot more going on, okay? So we have what's called the plug-in hybrid electric vehicles, the PHEVs. These vehicles are vehicles that have a traditional gas-fired engine, we call them ICE engines, internal combustion engines, plus an electric motor. So what happens is these particular hybrid vehicles, they can get you anywhere from, I would say, 25 to 50 miles on electricity. That's really good for the situations where you're commuting in the city. And then when you're on the highway, you're going longer distances, it'll convert to the gasoline engine. And this is great for people who want to put their toe in the water. They're not quite ready to go totally 100% electric vehicle, but they can have the experience of economizing on fuel on shorter distance trips. Then you have the EVs, and these are 100% electric vehicles. These are like the Teslas. These are like the Leafs that are 100% electric. You also have a myriad of vehicles that are coming out, and there will be over 50 this year that are going to be rolling out throughout the year. Some of you may have heard that Ford, the Ford vehicles have launched, or Ford Motors launched the Mustang Mach-E, okay? And Ford decided to make their flagship vehicle electric. So these are a number of the vehicles that are coming to the market this year that have not, some of them have arrived already, and some of them are on the way. For example, Volkswagen's ID is coming out, and I can think in like the next 2 or 3 weeks. And the Volvo will be in towards the end of April and May. The Lucid Air, we expect that in the summer because they are going through their DOT tests right now, and they hope to be releasing those vehicles. But this is just an idea of all the different cars that are coming out. I describe them as the traditional makers. These are cars that have been electrified. These are the cars that are, let's say, made by the big three that have been electrified. Then you have the new models by existing automakers where they developed a totally new platform for electric vehicles. And then you have the disruptors. These are new manufacturers and new models like Tesla, like Lucid, like Rivian. Okay. And so that's what's going to be happening this year. So if you start now, you may be able to see all the vehicles before the end of the year. Now, I just want to share with you my wish list. These are my favorites, and they fall in each category. As far as when you talk about traditional makers, I like the Jeep Wrangler 4xe. Why? Because it is the electrified version of the Jeep Wrangler, and it's one of the only ways I can justify buying another truck, okay, or another. This is the only way I could justify it. And my truest desire is that it will become the future fleet vehicle for our company. All right. So this one is a hybrid. It's coming out as a hybrid this fall. And we're signing our papers so we can bring it on board. The next car that I like is the Jaguar I-Pace. And it's because just like with all Jaguar cars, I'm more of an aesthetic person and performance. With all Jaguars, it looks good. The head turning quotient is very high. It's all electric, okay? So it doesn't burn all that gasoline like a Jaguar, like a typical Jaguar does. And it's always been my dream car. Since I was a little girl, I've always wanted a Jaguar, all right? It may happen one day. Then the Lucid Air. Like I said, I'm an aesthete. So at the end of the day, for me, it just looks like a work of art. You know, if you've ever gone, I don't know if you've ever been to their website, but you can go to, I think it's Lucid Motors. You can go to their website and you can just see the way they are marketing the automobile. And when I saw the vehicle, I said to myself, that's a woman's car. That's what I thought. So that's my wish list. So I'd like to know from you, if you guys could put it in the chat, I'd like to see from you, are there any electric vehicles that you are checking out? And if so, what's the name of it? Can I get that in the chat, please? Jeep Wrangler. That's what Kinman said. Anyone else? Oh, okay. And then, of course, we have the Tesla, the Lucid Air. Okay, Jesse. All right. The Tesla Cybertruck. I think that's going to compete directly with the Hummer. All right. So, and of course, we have the Roadster that's coming out. And it's gorgeous. So that's why I'm bringing it in super slow-mo for a tune of $200,000. So Elon's been able to double the price of his car since its original release. It's not quite 10 years yet. I guess it'll be almost 10 years. Okay, so that's it for the automobiles. So I got great news for you. We have a digital swag bag. So I'm just going to be sharing throughout the presentation what's going to be included to create some excitement and bring some value to you. And what we have is a compilation of 44 models that were featured in Car and Driver recently in a poster form. So you can run this off. You can go to Federal Express. You can run it off in 11 by 17 and a half, the poster size. Run it off in color, laminate it, hang it on the wall, and start checking off the boxes and taking some of these cars out for a spin. You can also get this poster on our website at DaiTechCorp.com/freemium. Okay, so the other thing I want you guys to remember, number two, is when you are shopping for an electric vehicle, don't leave any money on the table. And what do I mean by that? There are all sorts of incentives that are available to consumers and business owners when they purchase electric vehicles and when they also buy the electric vehicle equipment. For example, the federal government has tax credits that are available, and they're based up to 200,000 units sold by a particular manufacturer, not the particular model, but the manufacturer. And I'll explain later. So you can get a tax credit. Let's say you buy an electric vehicle this year, you can get a tax credit up to $7,500. And that's going to be based on the size of the battery or the range that the battery can allow you to travel. Now, the maximum amount that you can receive is going to be based, like I said, on the mileage or the range. And right now we have vehicles that are close to 200, from 200 to 300 miles of range. And so you can expect to get the maximum amount of the tax credit. And then for the charging equipment, it's 30% up to $1,000 for the cost of the charging station plus the installation costs. And in both cases, you just have to prove it out by submitting the bill of sale, the invoice showing that you paid for the vehicle and the charging station installation, and your tax preparer or your accountant can help you write that up and make sure you get some money back or get a credit on your tax, excuse me. As far as giving credits for electric vehicles on the state and local level, there are a few states that do have those opportunities. However, many of them or most of them dried up in December of 2020. But they do all have, if there is an incentive program that's available on the state and local level, it's going to be happening in the EV charging equipment. And in the district, for example, you have rate plans and you have tax exemptions and waivers on excise taxes. In the state of Maryland, which has some of the most lucrative incentive programs, you have rebates from the state, tax exemptions, and also the waiver, the excise tax waivers. And then it's the same thing in Virginia. Okay. The when we say exemptions, it's really the exemptions for the, and let me clarify that. That's the exemptions for getting your emissions test, you know. So that's what that's all about. And as far as what utilities offer, again, it's the rate plans on your utilities. You also in Maryland have rebates that are cash rebates and rate plans that are available. In Virginia, there are some rate plans, but it's limited to multifamily housing. All right, so Raquel and Reggie are happy about that. They're calling their friends and they're letting them know they can get some money back. Now, I'm going to break it down about how you shouldn't leave money on the table when you purchase or versus when you lease. When you purchase a car, because you have the bill of sale and you have the invoice, the person who purchases the car is the one that's entitled to the tax credit. So if the individual is doing it, they walk away with the paperwork, they give it to their tax expert who's going to make sure it gets the proper designation on the taxes. Then what happens when you lease the vehicle? Well, that's one of those things that you should know. You want the dealer or the leasing company to pass that savings on to you directly. So it will have an immediate impact on your lease payments. All right. So that thing should just fall right through to the bottom line on your lease. If you are working with a leasing company that is not willing to do that, push back from the table and go somewhere else to someone who's going to make a deal with you. All right. Now, I do have on the freemium page a list or an article that basically explains a gentleman's experience of leasing 4 electric vehicles in the past, I guess, 10 years. Okay. So he breaks it all down. He talks about his own experiences in doing so. So that's something you should definitely pay attention to. And we'll also be posting more articles about this on our website. Okay, swag alert. Bam! We have the link to the incentive plans that are going on in the DMV, as well as a link that will, from the Department of Energy, that will get you to any, I would say any incentive program that's going on these 50 United States. All right, so I want you to definitely check that out. And Suash just drop the link in the chat just in case you don't get to the information on digital swag bag. Okay. Next, the third thing you should know is that buying an electric vehicle is the easy part. And I say that with the utmost sincerity. And how do we know that? Because the name of my company, or the name of our company, is DaiTechnologies Corporation. We energize cars and we excite customers. We market, sell, supply, and install electric vehicle charging stations for commercial and residential projects. We offer the top brands in North America for battery charging at the home, for work, and for play. We specialize in outdoor residential and other complex electric vehicle charging installations. And we do what we must to follow the trends, survey the market, engage our customers, build relationships with the OEMs, and that's the equipment manufacturers, as well as the auto manufacturers. And we are cultivating ourselves as EV adoption experts. And this is what I've seen in the marketplace about EV ownership. Buying an EV is the easy part, and like I said that before, but learning how to energize your car will make your paradigm shift. Please note, this is a lifestyle change. Don't forget that. It's going to take some time for you to get used to it, and it's best for you to get prepared for that once you know you're in the market for that. And this is why I say this, because you have if there's a lot of hype about EVs in general, all right? And it's good press. I am really glad that we finally have an automobile that is going to disrupt the automotive industry. It's going to make some new things happen in the marketplace. We're going to reduce our dependency on crude oil, all that good stuff. Is going to make the air better in the city by reducing emissions. And we will have less occurrences of pollution-related asthma going on in our communities, especially in the cities. EVs have a lot of good press and a lot of what I would say critical press that's written by journalists. They are paid to be objective, all right? That's the intent of journalism. They'll give you a point of view, but at the end of the day, their hopes is to help you understand a lot about how the cars are made, how they drive, how they handle, and if it's really, most importantly, if it's a piece of crap, right? Now, if that were to happen in electric vehicle charging stations, I would say, there's not a whole lot to be concerned about. You can just read the press and see what's out there. Well, the reason why there's an opportunity for DaiTechnologies Corporation to be in the marketplace is because one of the things I found out that most of the press about EV charging stations is derived from affiliate marketers. They're going to say whatever they need to say to sell that charger to you when you go online, or it's written by the PR machine by the manufacturers. All right. So you're not going to get an objective opinion about the charging stations. The next thing is that the dealers provide in-house training for electric vehicles. But one thing you should know, less than 20% of the dealerships in the United States have someone in-house that knows anything about what you should do to fuel your automobile. Okay? So, what does that mean? That means that you'll buy an electric vehicle and then you go, then only 20% of the dealerships, 1 out of 20 dealers you'll go to, will be able to give you any insight on the things that you must do in order to energize your car. That's another reason why we're here, to help you understand the process. Finally, auto dealers, the best they will do for you is they will give you a link to a referral service like QMerit. DaiTechCorp is a part of that service. They did the background checks on us. They checked out our licenses. We're licensed general contractors. They made sure we had insurance, okay? And they did all of that, but at the end of the day, they did that for me and maybe the hundreds or thousands of others installers across the country. But at the end of the day, you really won't know who's coming to your home, all right? So you're still kind of leaving it up to them. That's another reason why we're here, so that you know that if you want Dye Technologies Corporation to come with, you know us, you know me, and we're going to give you the best service available when we come and install your electric vehicle charging station. And also, our recommendations are based on the research that we've done, specifically identifying the top manufacturers. And we've built relationships with them. And they are the top manufacturers in North America, excuse me. And they are Enel X. They're the makers of the JuiceBoxes, ChargePoint. You've seen them. They manufacture the Home Flex. And Webasto, all right? That used to be the aerial vent charging station. And I'll tell you why we represent these brands in a minute. The other thing that you should know when you're buying an EV, there's nomenclature. And I've been going back and forth between all of them, but they all mean the same thing. It just depends on who's talking to whom. You have the EVSC, which is the electric vehicle supply equipment. And usually I've seen that mostly in RFP situations where you have a technical person authoring an RFP or originating an RFP, and they're talking to suppliers who are going to respond to the RFP. All right. Then you have the EVCE. A lot of times that terminology is used by the utility companies talking to everyone else in the marketplace. And then you have EVCS, that's electric vehicle charging station. That's for the rest of us. The OEMs talking to the end users, or the OEMs talking to the actual drivers of the car. So don't get tripped up when you see these different acronyms. I just wanted to share that with you. Okay, so these are the strategic relationships and affiliations that we have. We work with Webasto. First of all, we only sell level 2s and level 3 charging stations. Why? Because level 1s are the ones that you plug into your regular household outlet. And at the end of the day, they're becoming obsolete, and they also take forever to charge your car. Most of you will receive, when you purchase an electric vehicle, you will receive a level 1 charger. The dealer will tell you, oh, it'll charge overnight. But in real life, it usually takes anywhere from 16 to 24 hours for a vehicle to charge on a 110 outlet. That's good during the lockdown, but COVID is about to be over. Rona is about to leave town, and we're going to be up and running all over again. And 16 to 24 hours charging your car is not going to cut it. So that's why we went with level 2 chargers and level 3s. You can purchase a level 2 charger for the home. You can purchase a level 2 charger and a level 3 charger for commercial applications. And the brands that we carry, Wabasso level 2 for the home, ChargePoint level 2, level 3 for the home and commercial use. And you have the JuiceBox level 2 and level 3 for the home and for commercial use. Okay, so this is a simple charge. We carry Wabasso because it's a simple charger. Why? Because in the District of Columbia, in this region, in the DMV, there are a number of people that have top secret clearances. Now, why is this important? The smart chargers have a brain. They're processors. They are computers. They have information traveling back and forth from your home to the world on the from the Wi-Fi or through the Wi-Fi to the World Wide Web. If you have a security clearance, your charging station could be a security breach. And we don't think that the folks who have top security clearances should be devoid of electric vehicles because their charging stations is telling all their business. So what we decided to do here was make sure that you could enjoy driving an EV and purchasing a simple charging station. Okay? The only thing is that you may have to double check for the incentives, but they're 240 volts. This particular model is 240 volts. It's 40 amps. It's hardwired. Has an indicator light to let you know when you're charging your car. It's ideal for personal privacy, and the prices range from $500 to $600. And like I said, double check for incentives. And that's just the cost for the charging station, not the installation. Okay? Now, we inventory the JuiceBox. And the JuiceBox is a smart charger. And what makes it special? It's Wi-Fi enabled. It's mobile. It has mobile and desktop dashboards. It is, you can network it with, you can be a part of a network, and it has data cloud communications. And one of the reasons why we carry this particular model, and I love it, is because it's the only manufacturer right now that offers a home charger that you can put on a pedestal. Okay, and it's when it comes to chargers, it's just gorgeous. I mean, if chargers can be cute, I guess it would be the JuiceBox to me. So anyway, but it's one of the residential charging stations that come with its own pedestal, or you can order a pedestal as an assembly, as an attachment to it. And this is especially important because we have a lot of people in this region that park on carports. A lot of folks around here, particularly in DC, they don't have garages, or their garages are full, and they won't have the opportunity to mount it on the wall. And so this gives you a nice finished look for your charging station. The other thing you should know is that we do what we can to keep it simple. I know I told you I was going to give you 3 you must knows, but I have some bonuses for you. Okay, so a few things everyone should know is that no matter who's installing your electric vehicle charging station, it's not a handyman special. It's not an Uncle Louie special. Make sure you have a licensed electrical contractor, or a journeyman electrician, or a licensed master electrician installing your charging station. And we have those people as a part of our team over here at DaiTechCorp. All right, we can install any brand. We just carry a few in our inventory. All right. You will need a permit and only licensed electricians can obtain that electrical permit. You will need a permit. You can't get around it. There will be some companies that say, oh, you don't need a permit. And I'm going to tell you, because of the power load that's required, you want a permit on your EV charging station for safety reasons, okay? It takes a lot of juice, literally, to fire up these cars. So make certain that you have the work permitted. It'll cost you extra, but in the long run, you know that it's it's the safest possible configuration that you can have for your home. The other thing is, when a charging station is installed, your electrician should, the first thing they do before they install that EV charging station, when they crack open that panel, they should be checking to make sure your existing panel is code compliant, making certain that the connections are solid, the terminal points are fitted or are set properly. Okay, if not, it could cause a situation in your home, an electrical fire. Let me just be perfectly honest about that. And you don't want your electrician to take any shortcuts, and we don't. Right? We're very meticulous at Dye Technologies Corporation, and you should expect the same from any electrician who's coming into your home. This was a box reveal of a JuiceBox. Okay. All right. So this is our process. We usually receive opportunities or learn about opportunities to install EV chargers, either through organic or chimeric referrals. And of course, we invite you guys to get in touch with us after the webinar if that's something that you are interested in. And when we say organic, it's basically folks coming off our website. All right. We will have you complete a residential questionnaire. We will engage you in a discovery call, and we'll determine whether or not we're going to do a site conditions assessment, or we're going to do a face-to-face based on the information that you shared with us. We will provide you an estimate. If you accept the price of the proposal that we submitted and you accept it, we ask you to give a deposit. A lot of this is electronic. Then we will coordinate your permitting. We'll coordinate the project. We'll get the permit. We'll make sure you get your EVCE, your electric vehicle charging equipment. We'll install it. We'll activate your EV charging station. You remit us the balance, and then it's driving from now until the battery just dies on you. Okay, so and then they're talking about bringing on replacements. So that's what we are able to offer you guys. Now, before I continue, I've been going rapidly. Does anyone, if you have any questions? Oh, someone said, what about people living in apartments? I'm going to answer that question during the Q&A, so please don't let me forget. All right, so if you have any questions I forgot to ask, put them in the chat and we're going to answer as many as we can before it's time to go. Okay, so how do we keep it simple? Well, first of all, we want you to stay connected with us via all our platforms. We have a Linktree link here, and Suyash is going to drop it in to the chat. All right, this gives you access to all our platforms, our web address, our Twitter page, our LinkedIn page, our IG page, and whatever other page they come up with. Okay, so then we also want you to grab your freemiums in your digital swag bag. Make sure that happens, and give yourself an opportunity to get acquainted with Dye Technologies Corporation. And we'd like to hear from you. Okay, you can make a discovery call. We'll spend some time with you and just get to know you better, and offer some suggestions if you're looking for them, even about what we've heard in the market about your vehicle. Okay, you might not be ready to buy a charger, but we might know a little something about the car you're looking for. Okay, then If you've already made the move, some of you may have already purchased your car. It's getting shipped. The dealer has told you come by and pick it up in 2 or 3 weeks, especially if you bought a Volkswagen or a Volvo. That should be very, very exciting. We want you to stay in touch also. Grab your freemiums, but we definitely invite you to schedule a 15-minute discovery call so we can start working on your solution or offer suggestions for a solution for your EV charger installation. Okay, so swag alert. Now, if you are one of those who say, hey, I really want to get this charging station installed, I've got something for you. Compliments of Enel X JuiceBox. We have a special gift. We have smart EV charging for dummies, a part of the For Dummies series that's coming out of Wiley Publishing. The folks at NLX thought it was very important for you guys to get a copy of this. So once we complete, a site assessment, that's like on-site or virtual, we will forward this electronic book to you. All right, this ebook. Sorry, got the name wrong. We will make sure you get a copy of this ebook, and it's a legitimate book. I'm on chapter 2. So, and there's something for all of us to learn, which is why I am reading it. All right. So that's the freemium. So this is my intention check-in to make sure, because we're about to close this thing out. I hope we checked all the boxes. Are you compelled to check out the electric vehicles this spring? Can I get a yes or no as a result of this presentation? Can someone put in the chat? Yes? No? Maybe so? Okay. Cool. Have we increased your understanding about the incentive programs? Someone said, yes, if I get my bonus. Kelly, you know what, girl? You've been killing it. You've been killing it out there. Kelly's been killing it. You want me to call somebody for you? Give Kelly what she deserves. All right. And will you connect with DaiTechCorp in the future for optimal aftermarket experience? And I hope the answer from all of you is yes. Okay, so what's next? Raquel and Reg said thumbs up. Yes. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Kelly. I appreciate it. All right, call to action. It would not be a webinar unless we had a call to action. But guess what? I ain't selling nothing. All right, we're bringing value to you. What do we have? We've got your digital swag bag. What's in it? You go to this link, and we'll send the information to everyone that's attended. If you did not register, well, everyone had to register. Okay, so we should have your email address. But just in case, so you guys, can you do me a favor? Can you drop this in the chat one more time? Oh, it's already there. So just in case, everyone copy this. You'll get a discovery call. Schedule a time. We'll spend some time with you. We'll talk about electric vehicle adoption. All right. You'll get your poster. Priceless, because we saved you a whole lot of time. It's about 50, there's over 50 vehicles that are going to be out there, and we listed and gave a write-up of about 44. That's huge. It's all types of makes and models. Then you'll get the book, the For Dummies book, and one of the most important things, you have an opportunity to save up to about $8,500 if you are able to maximize your incentives. So that's it for the swag bag. All right. So that's your call to action. Stay in touch. Go to the freemium page. Get your digital swag bag and schedule your discovery call. So, audience Q&A. I'm going to check out these questions and I'm going to bring up everybody's. Oh, okay, everyone. Okay, I'm hiding it. Okay, so the first question is, what about people living in apartments? What about them? I can tell you that the biggest opportunity for electric vehicle adoption is a multifamily housing. However, all the emphasis has been in single family homes. And you probably already know that. Depending on where you live, your state is already moving some legislation through to make sure it's easier for people who live in apartment complexes and condominiums or multifamily developments to obtain electric vehicle charging stations. And one of the ways they're doing it is they are passing legislation that says it's very similar to um, reasonable. Oh, what's the term? I just lost the tip of my tongue. Reasonable accommodation. That's it. Reasonable accommodations. So it's very similar to reasonable accommodations for American Disability Acts type situations. So if you and your fellow apartment dwellers decide that you would like an electric vehicle charging station because you live in an existing building, you can, in some states, not all of them, the laws are about to change and say if you work with the owner of the property, they have to provide reasonable accommodations that will allow you to install the EV charging station. Now, that means that you may have to take some of those costs yourself. And you want to evaluate that. But it's definitely something that you should look into, especially if you're part of an HOA, then maybe the HOA will spend the money. I know that with existing apartment buildings, unless it's what they call a Class A luxury building with a doorman, the chances of your landlord retrofitting an EV charger right now is not going to be great. Okay, is that's the word on the street in the real estate community. And we did a survey to find out why, and they basically said that right now is not the time. All right, I hope that answered that question. All right, do I have another question? Is there another question? Okay, oops. All right, so I got another request. It's the same one I had from the beginning. Please vote for us for the Federal Express Small Business Grant. We're going to drop that link in the chat. I'd appreciate it. We're making a run. We got to make it to the first cut. And we have to be like the first, I think the 700, then it's 100, and then it's the 10 finalists. So help us get through the first round. I appreciate it. And I'm going to say thank you and good night. We're going to hang out. We got a few more minutes. I'm going to bring everybody up. If you have any questions, and we're going to take it off of mute. If you have any questions, please raise your hand and unmute yourself. But we're done here. And thank you so much. I appreciate you being a part of this. Thank you.
You're well, Cheryl.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, Cheryl.
Oh, I forgot to announce. We're going to have another one next month. Also, we're going to call it the uh, the EV adoption hacks for the commercial real estate pros. Got something for y'all next month. Hey, Tim. Hey, Tim. All right, so Tim and I went to graduate school together.
Yes.
How you
Hello,
doing?
Cheryl.
You gonna show your face?
Oh, sure. I never do
How you doing?
that. All right. How are you?
I'm fine. So what you think? You enjoy it?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's good.
I haven't, yeah, not really looking. I was just checking out,
Curious.
see what's going on, see all you learned, see all you've learned. Yeah.
And see all I learned.
Yeah. We talked about this several years ago and you were
I
thinking about
know,
yeah,
right? Exactly at the reunion. So Tim, are
yeah.
you in California?
It's where I live now. I'm not there right now, but yeah, I still live in San Francisco. Yeah.
Okay. And there's a few folks still driving regular gas cars. You
I
got
know.
a big year coming up in like
You're right.
15 years. They're gonna stop selling gas guzzlers in Cali in
Well,
2035.
let's see if they get there. Yeah.
I think it's gonna happen.
I think it will because you've got GM and Ford kind of piling on too and saying they're going to do it. And quite frankly, if the big US automakers don't do it, pretty
Somebody
soon electric's going to be more economical than anything anyway, and they won't sell anything. They have to. Yeah.
exactly. I think Washington State is in 10 years in 2030. And so that's going to be interesting. So if Washington State does it, California is definitely going to make it happen. They aren't going to be embarrassed or anything like that. So.
All right.
Well, it's good. It's so good to see you again.
Yeah. Good to see you too.
Yeah, it's so good to see you. So let me, if you have any questions, let me know.
Will do.
And yeah, so that's
All right.
good. All right.
All right.
Thanks a lot.
Take care of yourself.
Bye
Bye bye.
bye. No more questions. All righty. So we usually have the call after the call, but we can shut this down. Wayne, Wale, is that Wale? Wale? Be quiet. All right. So we can go ahead and wrap this up and